Two award-winning writers, best-selling authors, and giants in their respective fields of TV and sports writing. They also host the Poscast podcast, and their new book, big fan, Two Friends, 82,490 miles in the wild, wonderful sports we love, is available now. Please welcome to the show, Mike Shore and Joe Posnanski, everybody.
Great.
Oh, so great.
It's great to have you here. You guys are podcast hosts. You've written together before.
Yes.
And yet you embarked on this new book, this new project where you hit the road and experience what being a fan is about. How did you come up with this idea? What made you want to do this one?
A couple years ago, a friend of mine sent me a video of the World Darts Championship in London, England. And in it, two very stocky, serious-looking gentlemen are throwing darts, expressionless from like 8 feet away. And behind them, the crowd is losing its mind. They are dumping beer on each other and throwing things up in the air. And by the way, I slowly realized they are all in costume. They are Harry Potters and Minions and tomatoes and bananas. And I had two thoughts. The first was, these people are insane.
Yeah.
And the second thought is, oh, that's how I am in sports. Like, that's when my wife looks at me during a Red Sox game.
Yeah.
That's what she is seeing. And I had this idea that
She's seeing you dressed like a
in
minion.
a giant banana suit. And so I immediately thought of the book, and I thought, well, if I'm doing this, I got to do it with Joe, because he is also a Psycho sports fan.
Yeah.
And also, the point of it to me was like communion and togetherness. And I thought like it would be more fun to do this with someone else.
Give us the short version of your theory of fandom.
The short version is that life is a little bit lonely sometimes, and sports gives us community and togetherness. Life is a little chaotic, and sports can give us structure. Like, we all know when the Super Bowl's on and when baseball starts. What's the rest of my theory?
Life, yeah, let me fill you in on the rest of your theory.
It's a great theory.
And life is kind of boring.
Life is boring, and sports provides excitement.
Yeah.
And we talked to this professor early on. We ran this theory by him, and he was like, mostly, he was kind of,
He was
thought
kind
we were
of agreeing.
right.
Yeah, he was kind of agreeing with us.
We have an interesting. I know you guys both hate the Yankees, the New York Yankees.
More than anything.
I also hate the Yankees.
Yes.
But yet there's an interesting thing, which is the Knicks are in the finals. I'm a Celtics fan. You're a Celtics fan. I don't know what team you're
He's
in.
a Cavaliers
Cleveland,
fan.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go for
but like
Cleveland.
I'm so excited for the Knicks. How are you guys?
We are so, it's disorienting. Because
Yeah,
we are
so
rooting
weird.
for the Knicks, and it's the first time in either of our lives. We love New York, hate New York teams,
Yeah.
and we are rooting desperately for the Knicks.
Yeah,
Why?
we are all in on Knicks.
Yeah, we're all in.
It really is an incredible thing they pulled off, which is like they were so bad at this for so long that New York is an underdog. Like,
Yeah.
they're like scrappy. It's so hard for
Well,
New York to be scrappy.
It's also scratching an itch that you and I shared before 2004 when the Red Sox finally won, which is if any fan base suffers long enough, I have enormous empathy. I root for the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills. There
Yeah.
you go. I root for any
Bills,
team,
yeah.
any team where the fans have just been subjected to misery for so long, because that's what we were.
Yes.
That's what Joe's from
I'm
Cleveland.
still feeling
That's
it.
still
I'm
where
from
he is.
Cleveland, yeah. So-
We are, you know, in 2004, of course, and that is something I was very lucky to share with you as a friend and a fellow Red Sox fan. And I've always said, like, when they won, I felt the way Pinocchio did when he became a real boy. Like, I was like, oh, I can leave all the my wooden youth behind. That was a formative thing for you. You were living a better life because that happened.
Oh my God. I mean, at some level, all we wanted was just to be normal. Like,
Yeah.
we were abnormal people.
Yeah.
The way that we went about our days. Seth and I once went and visited friends on Cape Cod or Nantucket.
Nantucket, yeah.
It was like a beautiful summer day in July. And they were like, we're going to the beach. And we were like, we're not, because the Red Sox are playing the Yankees at 1 p.m. and we have to watch it. It's July. Like,
Yeah.
it's like game 83 of 162. And we sat and inside on the beach,
Yeah.
watched a baseball game. They lost. And then Seth went, I'm going for a run. And like, took off. Just like went on like a hard jog. And meanwhile, everyone else is like eating food by the beach. That's all we wanted, and that's finally where we got.
We wanted to have our life back.
Yeah.
Very good forward. You got Tom Hanks to write the forward.
Sort of, yes. We
Sort
did.
of.
We sort of.
No,
yeah,
he
we
wrote
did.
the forward, to be clear.
He did
Yeah.
write the forward, but he wrote it as a fan letter to me.
Yes.
which is very weird.
And this is how you got it.
Yeah, that's the fan letter right there. That is a typewritten scroll.
Yeah.
That's how he does fan
Usually
letters.
when you get something like this sent to you, you give it to the security.
Yes. Yeah. So the envelope was so thick, and my wife opened it, and she's like, "I'm opening this up," and it just kept going and going. And
Yeah.
From Tom Hanks.
That's so wonderful.
It was incredible. So we asked him. I mean, and it's beautiful. The forward is beautiful, but it is literally. He didn't know anything about the book. He just wrote it because he was excited about the idea.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then you never got his permission. You just published
Oh
it.
no, he's finding out right now.
He explicitly
Right now.
told us we couldn't use it.
You also have a chapter that is in the audiobook as well. It's their voices, co-written by your daughters, because you went to a Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert with them. So it's a lovely sort of nod to the fact that there are different sort of things that people can be passionate fans about.
We knew that we couldn't write a book about fandom in the year 2025 without talking about Taylor Swift, but it was like, what else is there to say? So Joe took his daughter to the Eras Tour. I took my daughter to the Eras Tour. And by the way, to be clear, we are also big Taylor Swift
Yeah,
fans.
yeah,
Like,
yes. Oh,
we're
yeah.
not trying to hide behind our daughters. Like, I'm a psycho Taylor Swift
yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
But we thought, well, the way to do this chapter is to have our daughters each write what she means to them. So they each wrote a chapter. Joe's daughter was 20, my daughter was 14. And then they read their own parts in the audiobook,
Which is
which
so
is
fun.
very sweet.
So
yeah.
It's amazing. By the way, I wish I cared about music as much as I cared about sports, because I feel like people who love music, like my father-in-law, like anytime he goes and sees the Eagles, it goes great. You know what I mean? Whereas like every time I go to a sports game, right, he's never like halfway through Hotel California, Aaron Boone hit a walk-off. And I just wish I had that. And that's when I see like people at a Taylor Swift concert, I'm like, every one of them is gonna leave with their team having won.
Yeah.
We actually talked about if you could like light up happiness, like the biggest, brightest like light in the entire world was following the Eras Tour. Every place you went, that was the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
You guys do, much like as weird as this is,
That's weird.
You do an equally weird thing in the book that you've talked about, which is you try to get and succeed in getting a hug from Mookie Betts.
Correct.
Because on your podcast, you two adult men talked a lot about what a good hugger you believed him to be.
Way too much.
We
about that.
we came up with a theory. It's unclear why we started talking about this, but we came up with a theory that, like, while you might expect the big, giant, burly polar bear guys to be the best huggers, then maybe Mookie Betts, who's like 5'9½", might be the best hugger of all of them, just because he's like technically precise.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like he's
Yeah.
put a lot of thought into it,
Yeah.
probably. And so we expressed this theory. Then we had the Dodgers manager on, Dave Roberts, on our podcast, and he was like, Mookie Betts isn't a good hugger. And we were
bad.
like, you
Yeah.
shut your goddamn mouth. And so late in writing the book, I got a call from Joe, and we were done writing, and he was like, I know how we're ending this book. And I was like, I do too, we've already written it. And he was like, no, we're gonna hug Mookie
Hug
Betts.
Mookie Betts, yeah. No,
And
that was it.
determine by it for ourselves. And so we set off on a very intense quest
Yeah.
to actually get a hug from him. We won't spoil it, but
It's a wonderful job. One thing I will spoil is you rank, and Mike, this meant a lot to me, you rank your top 5 huggers. I make your list. I mean,
made
it's
the
number
list,
5,
yeah.
but still,
Yeah.
you know, and I, because of that, because I was 5 out of the top 5, I hope you noticed, like when you came out, I tried to put a little sauce on it. Yeah.
A little extra.
So
hug
I don't
on
know,
us.
like when this comes out in paperback, just rethink maybe
Yeah.
top 5.
It's literally like my wife, my daughter, my son, and you.
Yeah. And I just feel like you have to put them top 3, but
Yeah.
if you're being honest.
Well, let's stick around after the show. We'll have a side conversation.
It's a wonderful book, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. That's Mike Shore. That's Joe Posnanski. Their book, Big Fan, is available now. We will be right back.